starting, thank God. I hate my life right now. Hello, my lovely friends, it's Margaret, and this is a reading vlog. I don't know where all of this energy is coming from because right now I just kind of feel like I want to take a nap. That's been me all day. I went jogging this morning and Tonight, I'm going to be starting I Can Make This Promise by Christine Day. This, by the way, is Sunday, June 14th. When I started this, when it wasn't recording, this is the second time I've recorded this clip, by the way. When I started this, I tried to say April, and like, if that doesn't tell you what's been going on the last few months, I don't know what else will. Because I am trying to run a Goodreads discussion group type thing and actually have questions and stuff for people, I'm trying to be a day ahead of everyone, which means I'm starting the readathon early. That's fine. That's great. It will give me more time to actually read the books that are on my TBR. I think it's changing. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's changing. I only have to read 38 pages today, so I should be able to knock that out in like half an hour. I'm waiting for a video and stuff to download and all of that jazz. Why is my towel still sitting there? Goodbye. It's been a day, okay? It's just been a day. Like, not a bad day, just been a day. But I'm feeling my hair, because it turned out pretty well, except there's like this one random curl. Oh, I got it to behave. There was this one random curl that wanted to be like all the way out here or some stupid stuff. I'm like, seriously, can you not? Like, I'm loving the definition you're getting, little guy. Oh, maybe, I think it's that one. Like this one, but it was like this. I was like, seriously, could you behave, please? I am rambling, so I'm gonna go now. But this is the start of the vlog, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the real start of the readathon. Hello, nerds. It is, I literally just had to write this 14 times for work. Monday, June 15th. There we go. So, it's officially the start of Vaultathon. I have not done much reading for it, so we got some stuff to talk about though. Let's discuss what I'm supposed to be. Let's discuss what I'm supposed to be reading, what I'm actually reading, and some other stuff, some fun stuff that came in the mail. My official TBR for this readathon that I've named, that I remember the name of because it is the readathon that I named, Vaultathon. There we go. I don't know what's going on. The official TBR is this one right here. It's I Can Make This Promise by Christine Day. This is the Vaultathon group book. It counts for all of the prompts. All of them. I have to read outside. Good. Maybe I'll drag my brother to go read in the park with me sometime this weekend. Alright, the other ones that I was supposed to start reading are Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw, which I don't have an audiobook for this, so I don't know that we're going to. Diary of a Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kinney, and Esperanza Rising by Pam Munoz-Rida. I love that I get the Spanish name right and the other one wrong. That's the official TBR and what I'm supposed to be reading. Is it what I'm going to get to? I'm pretty sure I have this as an audiobook, so when I finish my current audiobook, I'm probably going to jump to this one and listen to it. Although I'd like to read it, because I know I listened to it as an audiobook the first time. I'm rambling, I'm going to stop. But what I'm actually reading currently at the moment, I am halfway through Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. This technically could count for the book with a secret in it prompt, because there is a secret being kept from the main character. Why did I say book with a secret in it? Why did I? I'm just realizing that I made things far more wordy. I would like to finish this. I'm going to actually try and finish this tonight. If I'm going to be honest, when I'm doing sprints, I'm going to try and finish this tonight, but that's after I read. Yeah. I'm also currently reading The Sound of Stars by Alechia Dow. I am almost done with this book. Guys, this is such a cute, wonderful, adorable, wholesome science fiction novel. I don't know what that was, but I am enjoying it. I am loving it. It's just cute and adorable. It's about a girl who has a secret library during an alien invasion, and the alien who finds the library, and, well, I can't tell you all that much more about the alien, but it spoils things. And then I'm also, and this is probably going to count as my buddy read book because it's part of a big buddy read that's going on all over BookTube, but I am reading White Rage by Carol Anderson. This book is making me so angry. Like, just the fact that people, I don't think they thought it was okay. I honestly don't think they thought it was okay to treat people the way that they treated people Specifically, I don't think that they thought it was okay to treat black people the way that they treated black people in the United States. This is specifically talking about after slavery, I believe. Yeah, this is specifically talking about, like, it starts with the Reconstruction. But my thing is, I just, like, the things they justified are just, like, you can't look at it. You can't look at it and say that, oh, it was a different time, so it was okay then, because you look at it and it's just atrocious and it's awful and it's dehumanizing and I hate it, but I'm also being thoroughly educated by this book because I knew it was bad. I knew. My mom grew up during this era. She was alive when things were still segregated. I mean, she's still alive, but like she was, so a lot of my starting point was what she knew. And so I have then taken from that starting point, I've gone and educated myself. And so I know some. This is going into detail and telling you so many, like, just, you really need to read this. Like, if you are white, you need to read this because it is so much worse than I knew it was. And I knew it was pretty bad. I knew about Jim Crow. I knew about slavery. I didn't know about that black codes were a thing. I didn't know that they were arresting, like, they literally created laws against vagrancy so they could arrest black people who were not signed on as sharecroppers. That's why we have vagrancy laws in this country. Okay, so I started, what's the name of the book? I Can Make This Promise by Christine Day. My memory is shot. I've got little tabbies for this every time that I read. So I read the first 5 chapters. It was super cute, guys. I really, really am enjoying it. I think that she is, like, it's funny because you can tell that there's going to be some deeper, darker stuff coming. But Edie as a main character is just so wonderfully adorable. She's already, like, you can tell that she's already starting to piece together some of the things that don't quite match up. She's not questioning it too hard, but there are questions in her mind about these things. She wants to know these things without any prompting from the adults in her life. She's curious about her background and where she's come from and what her mother's tribe was and all of that stuff. And so I'm loving the setup for this. I think we've really, like, I couldn't have picked these sections better because the first section that we were supposed to read today, like, literally ends in a cliffhanger, and I enjoy the evilness of that. This book has done, just in its first 5 chapters counting the prologue, has done such a good job of giving you an idea of Edie's world and how she fits in it and her idea of her place in it. And then we kind of are going to be seeing that get shaken, obviously, after these first few chapters. I'm gonna try not to spoil it all that much, because I don't like spoiling things for people, because, I mean, I'm okay with it, but, you know, some people aren't. I'm okay with it until I'm not okay with it, but, you know, I take responsibility for myself. So, the books I'm reading tonight, when I sit down to do sprints, these guys. Hopefully I'll be able to sit down to do sprints, and I won't be stuck doing video editing all day. Hopefully. Anyways, oh, one more thing. Now that we've discussed the books, and I've thrown a whole bunch of them at you. Oh, speaking of, you're watching this vlog. So this is about Edie. She is Native American, and her mother is Native American, but her mother was adopted by a white couple. So she doesn't really know all that much about her mother's tribe. She just kind of has been told that that's not an avenue that they can go down. I'm assuming that's what she's been told, or that she hasn't questioned it all that much. She is hanging out with her friends one day, and for reasons, they go up to the attic, and in this attic, they find letters written by this person named Edith, and this person looks a lot like Edie, and so we're just getting into that. That's basically the first 5 chapters, and so we're getting into that, and we're going to be finding out more about that. Yeah. As y'all might remember, I used to be a Book of the Month affiliate. I've left the affiliate programming for reasons, and part of that is because they do, I don't know, not the greatest diversity of stuff. However, I did have 2 credits left. Oh, it got broke. And with those, I got The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett and Dominicana by Angie Cruz. Both of these are Bowties and Books' fault. Jesse, this is your fault. I just feel like you would appreciate knowing that. But I was looking for what I was going to be doing for my last 2 credits, because I had credits. I was like, I might as well use them on books, and so I used them on these books. I have heard fantastic things about this, and it also happened to be the one, I think it's a historical fiction. I've heard that this is going to be a really interesting one, and I've heard good things about this author, specifically from Jessie from Bowties and Books, and I've also heard fantastic things about Dominicana by Angie Cruz. If I remember correctly, it's a 15-year-old, and she comes to the United States, to New York City, to marry an older man to get out of the Dominican Republic. Ooh, this might be one I need to get to soon. I'm excited to eventually get to these. Like I said, am no longer a Book of the Month affiliate. It just, on top of it being a bad program, I would rather support other book box companies. So, there you go. Hello, nerds. It is Wednesday the 17th. You would think I would know that, having sat there and written it all day. And we have gotten, well, some reading has gotten done and some has not. I don't remember the last time I touched Clockwork Prince. It's probably in my Bookly app. Don't remember it though. And yeah, that's an update. I finished The Sound of Stars. I adore this book. I'm so happy I got it. I cannot wait to add it to my sci-fi shelf. I'm mad that it's only 1 book, but that's fine. This one was a little bit of like a, so the story that happens is definitely the story, but it's very much like if she wanted to make it a series, she could make it a series. It's hard to describe, like, what happened in the ending without spoiling it, but it's very much like, so this is just the beginning of a much larger story, but she's not going to tell you that larger story because this is only a standalone, and it's not, there's no sequel from what I've seen on online. I think the ending fell apart a little bit. It was just, some stuff happened, and I think people who don't like plot devices or don't like things being too easy are going to have a slight issue with the ending of this book, but it had what I wanted, and I enjoyed it, and I liked it, so I don't care what they think. And then I picked up Esperanza Rising by Pam Munoz Ryan for my audiobook. I have not listened to it at all today, but I did get 164 pages into it yesterday, so yeah, I'm that far in. This book is so sad, y'all. I mean, it's hopeful, but it's sad, and it's, oh my gosh, the way this girl's parents just absolutely failed her because she doesn't know how to do anything because she was raised rich. And so on the one hand, I'm sitting there going, kid, like, your attitude sucks in parts of this book. Like, just like, why, how, like, your parents know that the way you're talking to people and treating people is wrong in these few pages, this part of the book. How did they not raise you to be a kinder person? She's definitely having to have some really rude awakenings because she grew up rich, and then her dad dies, and they lose their land and the farm and all of that. So her dad apparently didn't think very far ahead. It is sad, but I like it. Like, it's definitely, like, I like the writing style for a middle grade book. It's really, really in depth and like, not, do I want to say evocative? Like, you really get a good picture of what's going on, but she's not wasting words. Does that make sense? And it's a heavy book, and it deals with stuff that I'm like, wow, I can't believe somebody put this in a middle grade. I mean, it's stuff that 12-year-olds are dealing with. You know, there are 12-year-olds out there that have lost their dad or lost a parent. So, but at the same time, it's like, this is a middle grade book, and I'm just surprised. It's not what I was expecting, but I'm enjoying it. I'm really liking it. I don't remember any of it. I know I listened to the audiobook of this, but I don't remember any of it. I was probably like 15, 16, 14, 13, something like that. I haven't gotten all that much done in White Rage because that's what I'm gonna work on tonight, because I want to get more of this done. But I keep like pausing to rant with Christine from Christine Reads. She is my person that when white people are behaving badly, I talk to her instead of just being mad on the Twitter timeline and re-traumatizing my friends who are people of color. Just like, you know, they don't need to hear about every single stupid thing that I have seen or that I'm reading, so I'm just gonna not put that on their day and talk to Christine because we like ranting about those things together. They're talking about Brown, I think it's Brown versus the Topeka Board of Education. But basically they're talking about desegregation, and I know somewhat about how they have managed to keep, like, I know what desegregating the schools ended up leading to and how that became the private school network, and so I know a lot of where this is going to be going at some point, and so I'm just sitting here like reading this early chapter and just cringing because like I can see it. I can see the roots of our private school system and the utter desertion of support for public schools that is happening here. So just like literally there are people who are like, well, if you segregate the schools, we're going to get rid of public schools. They literally tried to do that, and I'm sorry, this is supposed to be, you know what, no, I don't care. I'm not going to apologize because I'm working on educating myself, and you may want to educate yourself, so I'm going to talk about the stuff that I'm reading. And then finally, we are reading I Can Make This Promise. I am really enjoying this book. It just, I want to know the answers, okay? I just want to know. I have an idea. I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I just want to know the answers. I want to know all of it. I want to know the story. I want her to talk to her parents. I want this and that, but I keep choosing these sections. I almost stayed up really late last night to keep going on into the next section, but then I was like, no, Margaret, you have work tomorrow. You have to be a functioning adult. And then I couldn't sleep until midnight. Go figure. But I want to know what happens next. And I hope she talks to her parents. Is she going to? I don't know, guys. Anyways, I don't like Amelia. I think Amelia needs to be a better friend. And I haven't had that many instances of her being a bad friend as of yet. I just am getting a vibe from this girl, and I'm like, I don't trust you. I don't. You seem like one of those kids. I think you're gonna break Edie's heart, and I'm gonna dislike you heavily. Hello, nerds. So, we have some updates to talk about. It's been what? I don't think I filmed since Wednesday. When I was telling you guys I was reading Esperanza Rising. Did I tell you I finished Esperanza Rising? I can't remember. I finished Esperanza Rising. I find that middle grade, for me at least, is not as satisfying, even though it is this was a really, really good book. I'm finding the same thing with I Can Make This Promise, specifically standalone middle grade, because I think I end up kind of being more satisfied with series, because you get to see the characters grow up and kind of move on with their lives. It's just interesting to note how, like, plot structures and how the goals of a middle grade book differ from, for example, YA and adult. I think YA books have a lot similar goals to adult books when it comes to reading. I think it's more about, maybe a little bit more about escapism. And for books like, especially books like this is about educating and giving kids a voice and letting them see characters that are like them, and not necessarily having every plot line, especially when you're dealing with historical events, not necessarily having every plot line be, what's the word I want to say, because there's like there's a strike plot line that I thought was going to be a bit of a bigger deal in this book, and it's not a big deal in the way you would think it would be. But it still added to the story and added richness to the story, especially since it's historical fiction. So obviously this is something that was happening during the time that this was going on. And so it was just interesting to see how, like, if this had been a YA book, she would have been involved in the strike, and she would have been, it would have been a huge part of her storyline. And since this was a maybe it's just that's the story that she wanted to tell, but like, she's not. She was very, like, this is something that's happening, but it's not anything I want to get involved in. She's 12, so probably she shouldn't be involved in a strike, you know? But it was just, it was sad watching how she has to grow up in this book, and how, like, I definitely supported the fact that she learned to treat people who were not like her as people. That was part of it, learning that not everyone lives the way that she does, and that doesn't make them lesser or dirty. But, like, it was sad seeing her have to grow up the way she had to grow up because of what happened with her mom. And with her dad, because, like I said, he dies early on in the book. I'm rambling. Basically, I gave it 4 stars. It's really good, and I think that this is a good way to introduce kids to some of the issues that we have dealt with. This is actually based on Pam Munoz Ryan's grandmother, whose name was also Esperanza. I think her grandmother was a little bit older when she came to the United States, but it was good. I really liked it. I liked how they hinted at how Esperanza's life was going to be, but they didn't obviously romance between Esperanza and the guy that her grandmother, like, who played her grandfather's part in the story, would have been inappropriate at the time, because he was, like, much older. And Esperanza was 12. Since that finished my audiobook, I picked up The Princess Diarist by Carrie Fisher. This came out a month and 5 days before she died. And just reading this and realizing it's the last book she ever wrote is kind of an interesting experience for me as a Star Wars fan, and someone who was, she died on my birthday. So that was, like, not a fun birthday for me. Actually, I think it was a fun birthday for me later, but, like, that day I was just like, this is sad. Why did this have to happen on my birthday? Like, why did this have to happen at all? Like, it especially makes me sad that Carrie is the one that died. As much as I love Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford, I'm just like, of the 3 people, it had to be Carrie, the only woman in the group that died. I mean, I don't know what we do without Mark Hamill, but, like, anyways, so it's been interesting. She is definitely a Spitfire, and I've always liked Carrie Fisher as a person and as an activist. There are places where I'm like, I'm not sure how I like how you worded that. That you can definitely see the time that she grew up in and the time that she was raised in, creeping through. And I'm not sure how much of that is her trying to be, like, funny and a comedian, and how much of that is just, like, actually internalized stuff. Because I don't really know her all that well, because she's a celebrity, or she was a celebrity, and she was mostly an activist for mental health and women's rights issues, and you know how sometimes feminists can be, especially white feminists. So, anyways, I am enjoying it. It's funny. We've just gotten to the part where she's talking about her relationship with Harrison Ford. I was under the impression that he didn't know she was going to write about it, but she states in here that it's not something she would have written about if she hadn't have asked permission. So I don't know. But it is making me want to go back and read some of her earlier works about the other stuff that she's written. So there's that. And then so I still have all my tabs in because I'm going to try and go into the Goodreads and see if anybody's talked. But I am right here on I Can Make This Promise. This is really good. And we just got to the part where we find out what happened surrounding her mom's adoption. And I knew that was a thing. And I knew that there was, like, it's funny because what happened, like, I knew was a thing. I knew was something that was done. And I knew that I just didn't see it coming, though. Like, just the fact that people could do that. I don't want to spoil the book, but I also want to talk about it because I know it's an issue that still happens. Not just with Native American women. So if you want to avoid spoilers for this book, I will put a timestamp for when I am done talking about this. But basically, Edie's mom was taken from her own mother when she was born because her mother was a Native American woman who was a single mother, who was living with her older mother and her brother, who was an activist and had been arrested for activist things. And if you don't know, that is something that happened really, really often, especially, I think she says the 1940s to the 1970s. Yeah, between the 1940s and the 1970s, and it didn't stop until 1978. Because what used to happen was if a Native American woman gave birth in a hospital, I don't even know, like, they probably had people that would take kids from their homes, but there was a big problem in this country, and there still is, with women of color. This is specifically dealing with Native women, but women of color having their children taken from them for the stupidest, smallest reasons. And a lot of the time, it's at birth in the hospital when the doctors just take the baby away, and the mom doesn't get to take the baby home. She goes to the hospital, she gives birth, she doesn't get to take the baby home, and it'll be for stupid small things like the fact that she's a single mother, or the fact that she is poor, or the fact that she had a shoplifting conviction in her past from when she was a teenager. If you ever wonder why women of color sometimes have anxiety about giving birth in a hospital, that's why, and it does still happen. Because I've read articles about people who had it happen as recently as, like, I want to say 5-10 years ago. I'm specifically thinking of one, and I can't remember who it was, but she had her first kid taken, and she was pregnant again with her second many years later, and she was still noticeably anxious about that. It's an issue in this country that we don't talk about, and it's another form of genocide to take a child away from its people and its family. It is in fact actually considered, like, removing someone from their culture or trying to kill their culture is considered part of genocide. It's not just like murdering people. It's a lot more complicated and what's the word, like, deep-seated than that. Spoilers over. Anyways, yeah, that's where I am with reading. I have in fact actually made some progress in White Rage also. I just got to the end of them talking about Brown versus Board of Education, which passed in 1954, and then it took them 10 years of Southern racists fighting them, and basically, like, they knew what they were doing. And I'm just going, like, have states' rights ever been used to justify something good, to get something good, or have we only ever used them to keep people of color as second-class citizens? Have we only ever, because the only things that come to my mind, states' rights-wise, are slavery, because the states had rights to be able to choose slavery, and the states, when they use states' rights for education. And I'm just like, the only time I ever, like, yeah. So, anyways, I'm sure there's plenty, you just hear about the bad stuff, but, like, I'm just like, we have the federal government for a reason. Somebody said America is like 50 different countries in a trench coat trying to pretend to be one country, and I hear that. There are just certain things I feel that should not be left up to the states. They just shouldn't. They should be federally mandated. We keep coming up with these situations where, because different states have different levels of protections on things, it creates loopholes for people and then ends up with huge abuses of power. Yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go now, because people don't like it when I get political on this channel, so that's enough for this clip. Okay, so it is Sunday, it is the day of the live show for Vaultathon. I'm really glad that we didn't do it early in the day, but let's see, what are we discussing? Oh yes, I have finished I Can Make This Promise by Christine Day. This was a good book. Okay, let's see, can we put thoughts to how this was a good book? So I was actually pleasantly surprised by how involved Edie's parents were in this book, and how not easily resolved, but just the part they played in the resolution and all of that. I definitely probably would have made different choices, I think, as Edie's mom, but that's not my backstory. But I also I also think that her mom was doing the best she could to not, like, traumatize her daughter, considering everything that went down with her adoption and all of that. So I loved it. I thought it was really poignant. It was just, like, it has such a really gorgeous kind of conversational way of describing things, and you really feel like you're in Edie's head when you're reading this. And I liked that. She really used first person well in this book. was a little disappointed that we only saw the dog at the beginning and he didn't come back later. But that's just me. Anyways, but I loved how everything ended up wrapping up from the beginning to the end and all of that. I also think Amelia is a terrible person, and I hope she learns to be a better person. Anyways. Mean people. I don't like mean people. It's going to be interesting talking about this and talking about Brother Bear, because I think after you get past the initial, like, kind of premise of there being family and there being secrets kept, and these both dealing with indigenous cultures, I don't think there's a lot of similarities between the book and the movie. Today, I am actually watching YouTube videos, if you can't see, while I do cooking. I'm watching Monica Kim, and I did not know that I needed her really chill, not atmosphere, but personality, but I did. Like, I started watching one video, and I'm just listening to her talk, and she is so just chill and relaxed, and, like, even when she's a little stressed, she's not stressful. And so considering the week I have had, I just appreciate her right now. Anyways, so I'm watching videos while I'm about to go down and do my lunch prep, which is going to take considerably more effort than it has been taking the last month or so, but also probably will be healthier for me than what I've been eating the last month or so.
Are you recording now?
Yes, I am recording now. Shut up. So this is the chair I've been sitting on for the last, I don't know how many live shows.
Like,
we're in the process of fixing it, but like, I can only sit on this half of the chair.
Wow. Well done.
It makes my hips uneven, and that's not good for your back.
No, not at all.
Anyways, I am in the kitchen cooking things now. Well, not cooking things, but you know. Upstairs where there's not a 400-degree oven going. So all of my food is cooking now. All I have to do is, and I'll probably wait till the chicken cools down to do that, but once it comes out, I just have to make pulled chicken with more barbecue sauce. We ran into a slight hitch. You might have heard us discussing it. I don't know how much of that I will have actually included. But we ran into a slight hitch when I realized we had no barbecue sauce. What proper Southern household does not have barbecue sauce? Like, I understand my mama was raised in Virginia and not like South Carolina, North Carolina, but what is wrong with these people? I know what's wrong. It's because she's doing the whole keto thing and no preservatives, and it's just how things work in my household. We've been that way a long time just because of my various food issues, trying to figure out how to best deal with those. I had to get out of there because it was so hot. And as you can tell, it has affected my skin. You probably could see it better in the clips that I put down there where my eczema is bright red, because this washes me out a little bit. But we're not having a good skin day today. That's fine. I ate a lot of Oreos this weekend and it was worth it. So anyways, I don't know what I'm gonna do for this next little bit today, because at some point the bro and I are gonna film a video. I'm not sure how we're gonna do that. I think I got through 4 of Monica's videos, so that's good. I'm gonna try and get through some more. She really is very soothing. You probably hear this all the time, Monica. If you're watching, you're probably not watching, but you're very soothing and I enjoy it, and it makes interacting with stressful things less stressful. Even if I did have a slight freak out over the barbecue sauce. My mom's like, we'll just make some. And I'm like, that's not in the plan. I am a Capricorn. I apologize for the fact that I am a Capricorn. It's I'm a quadruple Capricorn, and that's a mess. I'm a quadruple Capricorn with Aries in the mix, and that just makes me weird and dramatic. We're going to ignore the fact that my bed is a disaster and wrap this sucker up. Do I have everything? I don't have everything. Of course I don't have everything. All right, so books you saw me read this week. I'm pretty sure that I want to take a bookmark out of this book. You saw me finish The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. I gave this 4 stars. If you're looking for this great soft science fiction, fantastic. If you want the relationship to be the main focus, but you still want some sci-fi, great, perfect. If you're looking for I don't know, something a little bit more hard sci-fi, I would look elsewhere. But I really, really enjoyed this. I liked it. I do think the ending was a little bit convenient, maybe, or for some, I didn't care because it ended the way I wanted it to end. Then I picked up Esperanza Rising for my audiobook by Pam Munoz-Ryan. This I gave 4 stars as well. This was really, really good, and I loved how it tackled subjects that kids might not understand in middle school, but they might still be dealing with. It went through and it talked about depression because of what's going on with Esperanza's mom. You also saw me pick up I Can Make This Promise by Christine Day. I gave this 4 stars as well. Really good reading week for me. This was so good, and it gotcha where it counts and made me think about things and consider my lens, and it just made me aware that I watch things and I read things through a white lens, and that's something that I try to be aware of, but sometimes stuff will sneak up on you and you'll be like, oh, I should have been aware of that, but I didn't, my brain didn't go there. It should have, but it didn't, and so I loved it. I think it is fantastic. If you are looking for a really cool middle grade, you need to read it. And then finally, I also picked up The Princess Diarist by Carrie Fisher. I haven't finished it yet. I'm still not finished with it. This is Tuesday? This is Tuesday. I didn't read any books yesterday, really. Oh, you also saw me read White Rage, but that is in my bag, and I'm not gonna go get it again and talk about it. But there's another video coming eventually where I will talk more about it. So just, sit and wait, because it's gonna take a while, because I have a lot more books to get through for that video. Anyways, I like this. I like listening to Carrie Fisher. I think sometimes she gets a little overdramatic and yelly as an audiobook narrator, but I still like listening to her. I like her perspective on things. I like that she's able to get in the head of her 19-year-old self and make fun of herself, but also still kind of give herself, like she makes fun of herself, but she also acknowledges that her feelings were valid then, and you can really see in those diary entries some of the level of Carrie's bipolar disorder. So that is everything that I read for Vaultathon. My God. This is my own readathon, and I can't remember the name. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I guess I should probably give you what these were for. Yeah, so this covered book by let's see, what were the prompts for this readathon? It was in middle grade, book with a secret, book by an Indigenous author. So this was book with a secret and book by an Indigenous author. This was book about family and read a middle grade. There we go. Fantastic. I got it done in 2 books, hit all the prompts, except the one where you're supposed to read outside because I forgot to read outside. Shh. Don't remind me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, I will have more videos over here if you would like to see what else I do on my channel. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!